Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So I'm diving back into Destiny 1. I've kept Destiny on my PS5 hard drive. In fact, my PS, full stop. Ever since it's ever existed, because this is, without a shadow of a doubt, my favorite game of all time. And having sunk some, I don't know, getting on for 10,000 hours into this game, both D1 and D2, over the last decade and some, because I indeed was a June baby, an alpha Destiny 1 player. I thought, 10 years, let's celebrate and go back and have a look at Destiny. And here we are. Now, if you've never seen D1, as it's now known, of course, there was no D2 in those days, so it was purely Destiny, then you may not think that it's hugely different to look at, and in some ways it isn't. The spirit of Destiny, of course, hasn't changed at all. Fundamentally, you still have your three characters, the Warlock, the Hunter, and the Titan. And you can dress them as you want. What we're seeing here, of course, is the culmination, the end of Destiny, where all of my characters had reached maximum level and are wearing armor that they gained in some of those closing endeavors. I think back in Destiny, the Warlock was my go-to. These days, and in most of Destiny 2, it's actually the Hunter. If just for the agility, I could never really get on with the Hunter back in Destiny. And I loved the fact that the Warlock had the... in fact, we'll dive in as Warlock. But the Warlock had a special ability in Destiny. It was able to come back to life, which was the saving of many missions, quests, raids, and other activities. The Warlock was always somebody you wanted to have in your fire team, just in case things went wrong, and using their special ability to resurrect. You'd be shouting, "Quick, come back to life, quick, get us up." Which was amazing. The music is so evocative. Anybody who remembers Destiny, the first iteration, will remember this music so much. Now, things are a little different, of course. Graphically, it was 1080p, I believe. I don't think it ever went as far as 4K. One of the limitations of D1 and one of the reasons given for evolution to D2 was the fact that it was built to work on PS3 as well as PS4, and on that basis it was kind of handicapped from the start. Here is what we now know as the director, and in fact, from some of these worlds don't exist anymore. We can't visit Venus, for example, I don't think, in D2. But some of them are still around. Mars we can't visit either, sadly. Of course, we can visit the moon, Earth, or at least the two areas of Earth that we can visit, and the Dreadnought. We go to some of these places in Destiny 2 as parts of missions, but as actual open world maps, they don't exist anymore, which is a shame because I loved Venus, for example. And of course the tower, which as you can see here in the director, has its place in the heart. Always fascinating to see just how many people are still playing Destiny. Let's go to... I'm trying to remember how we get to... all of this will look quite different to what you'll recognize as a D2 player. Some of it changed towards the end of Destiny, and we're seeing here the sort of last results. You'll know in D2 you can go down. You do that here to get to pretty much the same. There's some things here you won't recognise. These horns, for example. These don't exist in Destiny 2, but you could play a horn on your Sparrow. The kind of thing you have in a car when you're angry at a driver taking the wrong turn. You could do that on your Sparrow, and indeed you could collect different horns. Some of them are great fun. And of course your Sparrows as well. That's all very similar. So this aspect of Destiny is pretty much the same. Similarly, having a look at all of your armor and weaponry, that is all pretty much the same, and of course choosing your subclass. Only the 3 to choose from: Void, Solar and Arc, whereas we've expanded on that somewhat in Destiny 2. Yeah, memories of Gilon. I don't even remember what that was. That was something to do with the Iron Lord season, but I forget what it was. It was talking some time ago here, guys. So, yeah, I think we only had the one menu. I was trying to go into the character menu as a separate menu, but I don't think you could back in those days. I think this was pretty much what you had. But you can see there are still people playing. In fact, if we go down to the tower, the original tower, which you will recognize from Destiny 2, it's still there, but it's now destroyed. And in fact, from this month, from this 10-year celebratory month, you can find armor that is sympathetic to Destiny hidden around in there, which is worth a look. Everything was a little bit slower in Destiny, and the engine, as I say, was constructed to incorporate older consoles, because in those days, people forget, it only existed on console. It was originally released through a deal with Sony on PlayStation, and then later on Xbox, and it wasn't until much later that it made its appearance on PC, and of course ultimately cross-platform as well. So here we are. As I say, you will recognize this. It's in tatters in Destiny 2, but I love the fact that I can still land all these years later. Destiny is still up and running. They haven't killed it off. They haven't pulled the servers. The game is still very playable, and as you can see, it is absolutely still being played. Wherever you go, you will find Guardians doing their thing, enjoying this game for all it's worth. I don't know if you can still buy it. I think you can. You can certainly install it if you can grab yourself a copy of the game on CD. But it plays beautifully, no problems at all. Here is, of course, our friend the Cryptarch, the giver of all things engram. There are so many things about Destiny, the first, that I love, that we lost in Destiny 2. One of them was the fact that when you did indeed, now what we've got here, we have a Hood of Malak and some old blue leg armor. We'll leave them in there. We'll leave them with the Postmaster. But one of the things I loved was that when you did an event and you suddenly got a golden engram, you had to come all the way back to the Cryptarch to decrypt it, which gave it such a Christmassy feel. You never knew what you had until you came here. And I remember one specific time when I was home from work, feeling very sorry for myself with some kind of virus, and I was playing Destiny as was my wont, and I landed a golden engram, when I brought it back to the Cryptarch, it was a gun that I had been desperately trying to get, and it had just fallen out of the sky. It's such an amazing feeling. Of course, these days well, the golden ones you still come here to the Cryptarch to decrypt, but the legendary ones they tend to open there for you, which is a shame because I think even the legendary ones, it was always fun to bring them. We have one here, the legendary engram. I have no idea what's in it. It is telling us that it's the fact that it has this kind of artwork shows that it hasn't been opened. In fact, no, these are ones to acquire, beg your pardon. But it's a similar thing. You wouldn't know what it was until you came here and opened it up. Being Friday, Zur is somewhere in this world, just as he is in Destiny 2, although, of course, in the most recent incarnation of Destiny 2 from... oh, look at that, I've been invited to play Destiny. I don't know that I want to join. I've never been much of a group player, so let me have a look and see what happens if I join. What's this individual looking to play? The thing is, I don't want to enter into a fireteam chat because, of course, I'm recording with you, and I don't know who that individual is. And they might be very potty-mouthed, and that is not what we want to have here as we walk through the waters of Destiny. So what I thought I would do is just take you around the worlds, just remind those of you who haven't played Destiny for some time, and those of you that have never seen the original Destiny, to give you a glimpse of how it looked back in those days. This of course is Banshee, the gunsmith, who took on more of a starring role in Destiny 2 than he or she had in Destiny 1. You could still go and pick up bits and pieces and do various tasks and so on, but nowhere near as important a role as they were to later adopt. If we go down here, this area now still exists in the Pale Heart in Destiny 2, but of course it's pretty derelict when you come down here, and as you'll see, this was where you would come if you wanted to interact with Lord Shaxx. This is the Crucible Quartermaster. This role disappeared completely in Destiny 2, and then in here often you would find young Zur, or Zur, however you want to pronounce it, on a Friday, Saturday or Sunday on the walls. I think this was a later edition in Destiny 1, and has carried through in Destiny 2. You can access blueprints for armor and weaponry, and invoke quests that you may have abandoned or forgotten to do. We've got some folk. See, this one's a level 2 here, so this is somebody enjoying the game fairly early on for the first time, which is really nice to see. And then our dear friend Commander Zavala, the voiced of course by Lance Reddick, much missed, awesome actor.
A consciousness.
You need better gear.
Not human.
And there he is. And in these days, you could acquire bounties, and they have. You can't do that anymore in Destiny 2. You can't go to the various characters and grab bounties, which I think is a bit of a shame. Is Ikora similarly, and here is also much missed Cade 6, who made a welcome return in the final shape of Destiny 2. Without any spoilers, if you haven't played your way through Destiny 2, just know that he's here still, and of course there is Morn, who appears here after the after she's discovered on the moon in the later seasons of Destiny 1. To the right, or the left, whichever way you want to look at it. We can go down here into the bowels of the tower. This running around forever still exists in Destiny. Destiny 2. Oh, look at that, it's the postmaster telling us here. And again, now, we have here something that disappeared in Destiny 2, and that's the faction leaders. So this guy, Executor Hideo, was the new monarchy faction leader. So it was always something in Destiny that was meant to be quite a large part of the game, but never really got to its full potential.
It's been a dream of mine to help
It's a Guardian outfitter. You see, these little. She still pops in. You remember her from various seasons. She pops in and
Stay safe.
gives us candy and other treats to play with for a month or two. But yeah, these faction leaders were meant to be, or the factions in Destiny were meant to be a large part of the game. But they never really met their full potential, and they were ultimately dropped from Destiny 2. So here you could join New Monarchy. I mean, you still, to a degree, it still exists, but it's yeah, I think they pretty much decided that it wasn't something to take forward. Here, of course, is Tess Everis, the much debated Eververse.
You're looking better than ever.
A lot of people were not too happy with the inclusion of microtransactions in Destiny, which of course is carried through in Destiny 2. Bungie always used the reasoning that they needed the money to pay for ongoing development, although I thought the game was quite successful in its own right, given that, as is the case to this day, you had to buy the original game in those days and pay for seasons. So I've never quite seen the reasoning behind that one, but anyway, it exists to this day. Here is Arak Jalal, who is the Dead Orbit faction leader.
Dead Orbit is not known for being...
On it goes, deeper and deeper into the bowels. Even seasoned Destiny players may have forgotten some of these areas. And this was just a place that served no purpose, other than you could come down, play music, which we'll do, and dance if you wanted. Obviously, the original idea of Destiny, the tower, was that it was a friendly place that you could be sure not to have to enter into any form of combat, meet up with your fire team friends, or recruit people into a fire team squad, as we saw earlier. And it was expanded to allow for different vendors. Is Ronnie 5530, Vanguard Quartermaster, where you could buy additional really original weapons and things. To be fair, they most of what these guys have to offer serve no purpose after the first few missions, but they would be given little tasks and stuff. Here, of course, is a now missing Amanda Holiday, the shipwright. She carried through into Destiny 2, and spoiler alert, she is no more. And there is one more faction leader, and I forget where that individual resides. Either way, Dead Orbit, Monarchy, and then... oh, I think on the other side of the tower. Let's go back through here. No, we've done both sides. Yeah, I forget where the third one lives. Either way, that was the tower. So, I now need to remember... oh, here we go. We have to go to orbit now, you see. That's right, I was thinking that there were two separate areas. in Destiny 2, you can pop up a map, or you can go to the director and you can choose the world that you want to visit and pop off there from your current location. In Destiny 1, you couldn't do that. You had to go to orbit. You had to leave the current map or the current world before you could choose to go to another one. So you had to go to orbit every time. A little bit frustrating, and that's why they removed that necessity in Destiny 2. Anyway, here we are, and we've done the tower. Let's have a quick look. Let's go to somewhere that anybody that hasn't played Destiny 1 won't have seen. So we'll go to Venus, one of my favourite locations. These little green circles are where you would land or launch into the map. As you can see on Venus, there was only one area, and we're fixed at level 11. So let's go in and have a little look. But very much most of what is going on here will be familiar if you are. You see, we had this progression system which was quite interesting, whereby there was this kind of entire index here, this tree of perks, and you could choose, and there are quite a few of them, what you wanted your character's attributes to be, and then they would change.
Vex activity here has been escalating lately. I wonder if that's thanks to us or the Taken.
Now, by this point, Peter Dinklage as the Ghost had been replaced, sadly. He was by far my favourite Ghost. But obviously after landing his role in Game of Thrones, he became rather an expensive extra, or talent, as they call them. So he was replaced. I forget the name of the actor now. Is it Nolan that does the voice of Ghost? Either way, it is not Peter Dinklage. And in fact, there's no way to, other than watching old videos, there's no way to invoke the voice of the original Ghost. Actually, I forget what the weaponry is here. So all of these weapons would have been from various the latter seasons of Destiny. We are, and again, I forgot that I'm playing the role of the Warlock. There's a patrol that we can do. So as you can see, Venus was quite an interesting place. I loved coming to Venus. I think artistically, dare I say it, you could even argue it was a little bit more detailed. The textures, of course, are lower res, because it was 1080p, I believe. I don't know, that the art style to me feels a little bit more grown up in Destiny than it does in Destiny 2. But that might just be subjective. You go into the bowels of Venus. So you have to bear in mind that, or you have to put yourself into me, 10 years ago me. There was so much mystery to this world, so much lore to be uncovered, some of it, of course, unwritten. Let's change. That's it. That's a fusion. And then a machine gun, by the look of things. So, yeah, we didn't have a clue in the early days, and I think to a degree neither did Bungie. They'd created a world and a little bit of a story, but a lot of it still had to be uncovered. And we know, as the seasons progressed, they were of course writing the story. Now it's an incredibly rich, tapestry, a tableau with all sorts of characters and stories. We didn't have the benefit of infinite ammo either in Destiny. Your kinetic weapons would run out of ammo, as do the specials and the power weapons of the heavies in Destiny 2. So you either had to do one of two things. Let me get back out of here before we go into more combat. You either had to go and grab yourself a brick of ammo out of your inventory, which are these guys, and that's kinetic down there. That's your basic ammo. The green, of course, is special, and the purple heavy. So you either had to have a stack of those, which you would come in and use, or you had to pick them up as they dropped from your enemies. And when you were out, you were out. Simple as that. Which, was still the case in Destiny 2 originally, although you didn't have those in your inventory, as you did then. But you still definitely had to pick up ammo. Chasing him out. There he goes. And there's a chest. The great thing about chests in those days was that you got more than glimmer. I mean, you still do get the odd legendary these days. Very, very occasionally something even nicer. But you never knew. You could open up a chest and have all sorts drop out in those days. We had the Stranger storyline take place on Venus, which is in and of itself a bit of a Destiny legend. There's some bricks and there's a basic one, because we're still not sure if even Bungie knew who the Stranger was in these days. And really that story didn't get properly resolved until Destiny 2. All I know is that I got my first exotic, or one of my first exotics, from the Stranger storyline in Destiny. Sadly, I forget exactly what a lot of the guns and things were called. Apart from the big ones like Icebreaker, which is rumoured to be making a comeback in October of 2024. If you're watching this far off into the future, you may know that it never did. But I do happen to have an Icebreaker, and there it is. So in fact, we'll bring the Icebreaker. The Icebreaker was, as you saw, a special, which is weird because these days it would 100% be a heavy, and may well be. So what was special about the Icebreaker? It never ran out of ammo because it would regenerate ammo. You only got 5 shots. It was a sniper rifle, as you can see. But once you fired your shots and you leave yourself for a few seconds, it would regenerate. We'll watch that down there. Now it says 3. Over time, give it a few seconds. There we go. 4, 5. Will come up. There we go. 3. Give it a second. Only a second. There we go. 4, and then there'll be a 5, and it'll stop at 5. So the Icebreaker, apart from actually having a significant amount of damage, was your go-to arsenal in so many quests, where you would find yourself a little cheese spot. You can still pick up ammo for it as you wander around the world. You'd pick up your cheese spot, you'd sit there, and you would use the Icebreaker, and with some supreme patience, take your shots and sit there for a few seconds and wait for it to regenerate ammo. Anyway, in their wisdom, Bungie felt that it was a deal breaker, an icebreaker, and removed it from the arsenal of Destiny 2. But it does sound like it's going to be making its much heralded return coming up in October, which will be fantastic, because us vets of Destiny definitely remember it with an immense fondness. Nearly rode up. Let's do a super just for the fun of it. Woohoo! Dropped an engram. Look at that. Let's pick it up. The green ones, once you reached a certain level, only ever gave you armor materials, but when you were fairly new, they would drop very low-level armor, potentially weaponry. Something else that changed, and I only noticed this recently actually in Destiny 2. I'm not sure if this is a relatively recent change or it's always been like it since Destiny 2. These days, if you do get an exotic engram dropping in Destiny 2, invariably it only contains armor. And the guns have been left for quests and special events. Whereas back in the days of Destiny, the original, your exotic engrams could indeed contain guns as well. And in fact, in some instances, some of the best guns were pure random drops. I think that's a shame, to be honest with you. Because I understand maybe some of the reasoning behind that, but as you know, if you've been playing Destiny for quite some time, then you almost certainly have all of the exotic armor anyway. So I don't understand why they can't. It's fun to get a gun, particularly if it's a gun you already have. I mean, obviously it'd be better if it was a gun you didn't have, but what I mean is that if they only allowed you in exotic drops to get guns that you already own, but maybe have a high-level stat of some description. Anyway, they don't, for whatever reason. And but in these days, certainly you could. No issues there. Anyway, I could, as is always the case, I could sit here forever just killing stuff. I just wanted to give you, I want to give you a little glimpse of all the worlds. Some Taken arrived. Yep, the Taken were introduced in Destiny. Very much towards the end of Destiny, if I remember rightly. Of course, in any event, as you know, if Taken simply arrive like this, then they'll probably build up to a superior Taken boss, or captain, whatever they're called. Once you've played through a few of their bubbles, let's get our machine gun out for the sheer fun of it. I still love this game. 10 years on, I've played quite a few hours of Destiny this week, Destiny 2. I have to be honest and say that there it is. I knew there would be one. There they go. I've fallen back in love with it from the final shape. I had fallen out of love a little bit with the last couple of seasons. I don't think I'm alone in saying that. That won't be a massive surprise to a lot of people. Even Bungie themselves know that they had to work the final shape into something quite special. I certainly, if I was to choose between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, I would still have to say that maybe for nostalgic reasons, Destiny 1 is my favourite incarnation. Although I've by now put in more hours of Destiny 2. Well, it's been around longer. Let's grab some of that. Right, let's go to orbit and have a look at another world. Whoops. I'll keep doing that. We'll pop over to the moon, I think. No, Mars, because if we do the worlds that don't exist in the scale that they exist in Destiny 2. And again, a lot of these places only had the one jumping in point. There's some that still only have one in Destiny 2. We do have the moon, though we did have the moon of Mars. I think it was Io, I forget now. That no longer exists. And I can't remember if it existed even in Destiny 1. It certainly doesn't exist anymore in Destiny 2. What they've basically done over the years is switch them out, rather than just have a huge database of content.
We've got
If
trouble.
you imagine if you're installing Destiny,
Last Guardians through here left
all
markers
of the
behind.
there's
Major
all this
Cabal
map
troop movements in the last
data
24 hours.
has to be downloaded, and so if you just keep adding worlds, it's just going to increase the size of the file. I'd love to think that one day we'll pretty much play everything in the cloud, and the size of the original file won't make a difference, in which case you could just have this vast world of Destiny with every world that's ever existed. That would be amazing. So it looks like we've got a mission going on up here.
I knew we'd get into
A
this.
little public event.
They're getting close.
As you can see, this guy's an absolute bullet sponge. And he wanders along, doing his little thing, getting his shield up. These were always frustrating, because after a while they disappeared. And just when you've done some damage on the guy, you get his shield back up again. Now this one has. And then you'd spend ages shooting down his shield. And then
This could be going better.
here he goes. Oh, look at that.
Well
Very nice. So we got ourselves gold tier, which I guess was the equivalent of the heroic event, and a legendary and some other stuff, which is great. Right, so this is Mars. I love Mars, as desolate and dank as it looks. Let me just get my Sparrow up, go for a little jaunt. It was big and vast and quiet and just fun to sparrow around. God, the Sparrow feels so slow compared to Destiny 2. Of course, Mars is where we were introduced to the Cabal, and ultimately the Vex, with Opteron and Venus, which was their original Destiny 1 home. But I just feel like the models in Destiny were a little bit more detailed than they are in Destiny 2. As I've said earlier, the textures obviously are more detailed in Destiny 2 because we're a higher resolution now, but I feel like the models were a little bit more detailed. It's 1080-30 essentially, but sat here 8 feet away from my TV, I certainly don't feel that it's significantly lower quality than Destiny 2. let's just have another quick sparrow run around. Leave these guys to their own devices. Somehow we managed to find ourselves in with a bounty, which I hadn't spotted before. Right, let's head back this way to the spawn point. I haven't actually taken part in any of the celebratory Destiny tasks, quests and so on Destiny 2, which I will do today. I'll start doing those today. Great to get some of the original artwork, armor and stuff. But I mean, even for a 10-year-old game, I feel like this still looks so good. You can only imagine how, if you've never played Destiny, if you're a newish or a Destiny 2 only player, you can't imagine how refreshing this game was. There was nothing, there had been, in my estimation, nothing like it. And it just looked and played so amazing. The combat, which of course to this day is still still seen as some of the best combat in any game, was just great fun. From the way their little heads exploded. Beautiful. Some little bricks of armor there. Right, we spent quite a lot of time on Venus. I think we'll maybe take a little bit less time on Mars. But one thing that you may have noticed, which has definitely changed in Destiny 2, there's far less music and musical intervals in Destiny. You were left with the sounds of the planet, of the world that you were on, the howl of the wind or distant creaks and groans, whereas in Destiny 2 there's almost a relentless soundtrack, which you didn't have so much. There will be music, particularly it punctuates combat and so on, but it's not there all the time, which it pretty much is in Destiny 2. If anything, that made it special for me. I love the fact that there was this desolation in these worlds, which you don't necessarily feel in Destiny 2. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, look, but the game's dead, there's nobody around. To be honest with you, a lot of the time when you were wandering around in Destiny, it was like this. Out in the world, you'd certainly come across people doing stuff, but it wasn't that frequent. Let's get the old icebreaker out. It's all kicking off, as London Eats says. What you'd also notice with the icebreaker was this menu, this radar, sorry. See what, we can't do any snipery work if there's not too much going on. Dude, there's another dude. You see, they are around, but you would only ever see. You have to bear in mind as well that the way Destiny works still to this day is that there are kind of server bubbles. I think that's their term, by the way. And you go from one to the next. And in doing that, you will encounter people that are in that bubble. If you go back into the vault, come out, go back, they won't be there because you'll be entering into a different instance. So, and also you have to bear in mind that we are, or I am indeed playing in European instances, because of course that's where I am. And as it's only just approaching 4 in the morning, or 5 in the morning for Central Europe, then a lot of these guys are also up ridiculously early as well. I love to think that these are seasoned Destiny vets that are just enjoying the game for old time's sake, just as I am. And obviously, as they and you move into a different Destiny bubble, let's say hello to them. There you go. Hi guys. Yeah, bless you. They will disappear, and you'll have seen that yourself as you play Destiny. You'll jump into a lost sector or a quest, and somebody will be running ahead of you, and all of a sudden, poof, they've gone. Right. Well, this beautiful piece of artwork is Mars. Gorgeous. Love Mars. Okie dokie. Let's go back to orbit. I think Mars only disappeared recently. I'm saying this because I'm talking from memory. It may still be there. As I say, a lot of these worlds you still pop in and pop out of in Destiny 2. They just don't exist as full playable areas, like the Reef, for example. Definitely exists in part, but not necessarily in total. One of my favourite endeavours in Destiny 1, which sadly never came across to Destiny 2 except in a tip of the hat in a quest, is Prison of Elders. Prison of Elders, which you can still play. You can still play to this day in Destiny 1. And whenever I fire up Destiny, I always love to play a little bit of Prison of Elders. I think it's one of the best games, one of the best sub-games that Bungie ever invented. And I just think it's so sad that it disappeared in Destiny 2, because it's just a great, if anything, I suppose there are elements of it in Destiny 2, but there's Varix. He of course pops back into Destiny 2 as a major character. In these days he was just a vendor selling you his wares. There's the Cryptarch. Oh, actually, Cryptarch might have some engrams you could look at for me. There we go, we've got one to decrypt. So, as it says, there's a possible chance of an exotic, and that would be amazing in this stream if it suddenly opened up an exotic. It didn't happen very often, but sometimes you would even just get blue stuff. So let's crack it open, see what we've got. No, we got a legendary sniper, which almost certainly went to the postmaster. No, there it is. And as you can see, this is very similar to Destiny 2. You can choose your different perks, and in fact earlier on in Destiny you had to use the gun, you had to progress the gun to unlock a lot of the perks. So what's this character got? Nemesis Star, Sleeper Simulant, Thunderlord. These are all names that Destiny vets will remember. Black Spindle, Telesto, which very similar to Graviton Lance these days. I think Graviton Lance is the supersedes the Telesto. It's pretty much the same thing. Trespasser, that exists now, but it's actually a kinetic weapon these days. Smite of Moraine, an adept. These adept ones were the high level ones that you got from raiding. Fang of Iryut, and of course the old Hawk Moon, Tlaloc, and the Suros, which still exists in Destiny 2, slightly nerfed if I remember rightly. And then on my other characters I have Galahorns and all sorts of stuff as well, and hunters and
Is
things.
that everything?
Whoa! Thought I could double jump there for some bizarre reason. Postmaster and Eververse, who in this world is just a kiosk. So actually, for old time's sake, let's check out the Prison of Elders, shall we? If I can't remember where we go to play Prison of Elders, actually. I think we have to go to Orbit for... Oh, this guy down here, this little fellow, Brother Vance, he was where you would come to get your Osiris cards. Osiris, of course, being the premium PvP event. A weekend event then, as it is now, I believe. I still think it is to this day. So you got 3 days to do your thing with Brother Vance. Never saw his eyes. These days, of course, it's Saint 14 that curates Osiris. I don't know why. I don't know why Brother Vance was booted out. Looks like a lot going on here. I'm going to put my money down and say it's because Zur has visited the reef. And indeed, there is the old rat-faced fella. What's he got on offer today, then? I prefer the Zur of old. These days, there's some... they've kind of overdone him, I think. So we could pay for a random engram, but we don't have enough strange coin anyway. We could pick up the Takenaut, which is a Titan helmet. Looks a bit like an old astronaut's helmet. No preview available. Okay, that's because we're not on a Titan. We could grab a Tarantella, which, if I remember rightly, was a kind of weird spider-looking thing. And the Heart of the Praxic Fire for Warlock, which gives you increased agility and stuff, which we could purchase. We've got enough coins, but I mean, I've almost certainly got it. I've pretty much maxed out Destiny 1. I don't know that I've got it here, maybe in the vault, but let's have a look. Yep, there it is, and it's 400, so it's the highest level as well. But yeah, you can buy these perks and do stuff with your armor, and the same thing for the weapons. You weren't limited. So I think Prison of Elders you had to go to Orbit to play, so we'll do that. And have a look at the reef when we're up in Orbit again. And go to the reef, and then up here is Prison of Elders. There were different levels of the Prison of Elders. Skolas's Revenge was the nastiest, the hardest event, the hardest piece of content that I ever experienced in Destiny. I'm not joking. This one Prison of Elders instance, a level 35 arena, took me and some friends over 19 hours to complete when it first launched. And for that, I don't know if I've still got it or if it's on this character, but for that we got a ship. I don't think it's down here. I think it was an exotic ship. It was a lovely looking ship though. Yeah, I don't know where it is. It's probably on another one of my characters. I don't think it's this one. No, because it was quite a weird looking thing. And some armor, I think. I forget now. But either way, it took forever to get that. And needless to say, I was very tired after that experience. We'll do a relatively simple Prison of Elders just to get through it. They're fun. It is a fire team event, so we'll have to wait for it to find guardians. Hopefully there are enough of them awake. It will, as is the case today, send us into the event on our own. If it can't find anybody else, that's not something we want to necessarily end up doing. Looks like it found one other person. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll have a quick look. So Prison of Elders, basically, you had a series of combat sessions that you have to battle through to finally get to a boss at the end. If you've played a quest on Destiny 2 whose name escapes me, looks like we've already got people in this one. Some of this will be very familiar. We'll be able to get. Here we go. I mean, this will certainly
Guardian. Success,
familiar.
Guardian.
Successful, I died. It's me and Cheesehead. Cheesehead's been doing this solo. Let's say hi to Cheesehead. Cheesehead's also a 40 and obviously enjoying themselves.
Round 2. Fallen out of the wolf banner, march to war.
Right.
Fight.
So that he has completed round 1. We're now going to be doing round 2. There are 3 waves in, I think it's 3 encounters and then the boss. Same map. I forget, we'll have to remind ourselves how this works. But usually, if I remember rightly, you had to defuse mines. There was a bunch of enemies would come around. You kill them off. That would be round 1. And round 2 would be a mine diffusion escapade. And then round 3 would be a boss in that realm. Oh, I still got the icebreaker. Probably ought not to have the icebreaker. This is not a snipery event. I'm really loving this pulse rifle. I think it's a slow firing auto actually. What else we got going on here? Oh, let's go with a doctrine. That's an Osiris gun. I did actually go flawless once. Once, maybe a couple of times in Destiny. I've never been able to achieve it in Destiny 2, mind you. Maybe people were just
Reinforcements are coming. Dismantle mines.
yeah, here we go.
Yes. Or
The second wave. We're gonna have to look out for these mines. They need to be diffused. Is there going to be one there yet? No. Let's find the first one. Where is it? It may not have appeared. Wait for it to appear. Yeah, that's better. Faster auto rifle. These days, in Destiny 2, my favourite. Where's that mine? Here it is. My favourite guns, the Call, the sidearm that appeared in Final Shape. Absolutely adore that gun. It's basically a handheld rocket launcher. Oh, thank you, mate. You did it for me. I was actually being a bit missed there. Let's get up here with Cheesehead. That's that one. There'll be one more.
success.
Oh no, he did the third one.
Have
Good lad.
done it.
Right, I also want to replace the icebreaker as well. We'll just get a pause here. Quickly change that weapon. Oh no, they're going to come at me. I need to find a little area to change the icebreaker to something usable. Let's have a look. What we got? We can actually let's put Telesto on, which is, as I said earlier, the
Enemies come,
forerunner of the
Guardian.
Graviton last.
Thirst for your
yeah,
life.
we do have some ammo.
Minds must be dismantled or dead.
Explode. Right, let's get to the mine. Oh, we've got someone else with us as well. That's cool. And I'll probably switch the machine gun to a rocket. Okay, is that one done? I think so. We won over the corner there. Anticipating. Oops. It's a legendary engram and an armor material. Yep, C's arrived, so I think Cheesehead got there. Knew it was coming.
Success, Guardian.
Well done, mate. Good work. The observator, they looked a bit different in those days, didn't they? Right, the third and final wave.
They are dead. You are
Survived.
not.
Round completed. I got by far the least kills, but that is
Go
not
back
unusual
to
for me.
airlock.
Let's do a little bit of dancing. Oh yeah. With Kiyusagai, Kayosugi, and Cheesehead. Nice chaps, good to see you.
Round
Both are level 40s, maximum level Destiny, so these are vets.
fight. Win.
Quickly change that to Sound of Fury, or that one. Let's go with that one. Right, we're in now with the old Bone Shakers. Where are they? The Fallen. I think these guys are called actually. My favourite cheese spot was always over here in the corner. Every Friday, one of the first things we'd do is jump into Prison of Elders. It was always good, great fun playing with the team. Possibly before, while we were waiting for team members to turn up and raid Old Glass or one of the other favourites.
Reinforcements ready for combat. Important target, Guardian.
Yeah.
Killed
It's not this dude though, he's going to come out and run around. We've got to get him before he gets to this red
Success,
area.
Guardian.
Flipping it, they did it. Memories.
More enemies on the way. Important target, Guardian. Kill or be killed. Success. You
Splendid.
have done it.
So that's that wave completed. Long live. First death of the stream. Thanks, fellas. Let's get the Telesto out and fire some void. There we go. Nicely done. Right, out.
Enemies
Exit.
die. You live. Well done.
You had to be quick because you could get locked out, you see. Like that. 7 kills. Long-term watchers of my streams will know that, particularly when I'm streaming, I don't tend to get a great deal of kills. Sorry, fellas. It's just the way it is. I never did learn to talk and chew gum. Was it walk and chew gum? I don't know.
Cabal war machine is on the march. They will try to kill you. Kill them back.
All teabagging each other. Right, I think this is the final one. And that's a big boss, but I may be wrong. I may be wrong. I may be misremembering. I'm not sure why that guy's got a flashing thingy bomb. Oh, he's got the what's his name back in. She doesn't want to fire him. It's not got a particularly high level of damage, this auto. Celeste does a lot of damage though. Where are they? This one I think is a mine diffuser, but it was always quite hard because the mines were right way across the map.
Be ready. More enemies on the way. Mines must be dismantled.
Yeah.
Or dead.
There was always one roughly around this area. But I always remember you got some serious damage from the Cabal while you were trying this. Which is alive. Oh, I did that one. Where's the next one then, chaps? Spotted it. There it is. Floating about. That's why I like the hunter. Nice, precise jump. And there's the other one.
Success. You have done it. Incursion. Ready yourself. Dismantle mines, yes. Or you die.
That'll do it if you can get there. I wish I'd come in as my hunter now. Which means the next one's probably here. Yeah, he knew it as well.
Success. You have done
it. Now we have to exit. What we got
Your
on the old
victory
battlefront?
tells the tale.
Stranger's rifle. Yeah, impact is awful. Let's change that one to that red space.
Return to airlock, Guardian.
Change this to. Actually, we'll go for. We've only got snipers in here.
Final
Now
round
we'll go with the Cirrus,
awaits.
I think.
Pilot servitor of a war wreck.
Yep, here's the final boss.
Fallen
So again, this is what you will remember from the quest on Destiny 2. This is a dude that you need rockets and stuff. Basically, go in there with our super. Then, as now, it's important to jump if you're going to fire your rocket so that nobody walks in front of you and kills you. I'm going to die. It's just going way out there a second. Well, he's going down.
Enemies die. You live. Well done.
So that was the boss. And now we get to jump down into the depths and get our rewards, which is of course a trick played
Need
on
you
us in the
back
quest
in
in Destiny
airlock,
2.
Guardian.
But not in Destiny 1. In Destiny 1, we definitely dropped down and filled our boots with rewards. They won't be particularly high to the very lowest
It
level.
is sweet. You
Prison of Elders.
have won. Treasure awaits in Crystal Barrow.
Oh, such joy. And then, here we are. You remember this now. But here you could literally open chests and grab stuff. Which was awesome. All going on here. And we'll have a little dance with our friends. And it'll kick us back to orbit in 5 seconds. That was Prison of Elders. I love doing Prison of Elders. Of course, we would do it on the higher levels back in the day when we were doing it for fun. But it was a great way to level up weaponry and stuff and get yourself rewards and things. So. And then some little bonus bits and pieces at the end as well. Such fun. And if you were very lucky, you might get... see, it's telling us we've got some upgrades up here. On some of our weapons, so... This one, we can unlock the soft ballistics if we wanted to. But it would mean that this would, as you can see, would be replaced. So in choosing these, you would have to decide whether you want to replace the previous one or not. Oh, all good stuff. And this one as well. Upgrade that fella. Let's have a look. That's a new upgrade on the Ghost. And here we have our bounties that are gradually being completed. There's some down here, look. Lots of bounties. You could carry way more than you can these days. I think the maximum is 6 in Destiny 2. But as you can see here, you could carry what, 20? 16, sorry, tells you there. There's the clan. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Okay, let's... Oh, hang on, what was that glowing and a flashing at me? A token of judgment. 3 of coins was great. With 3 of coins, you could use it to significantly increase your chance of an exotic engram dropping. And we used to cheese the hell out of the game. We found a quest where you could stack these and almost guarantee yourself exotic engrams for each play. Let's I don't know if you can change the character. I think you have to log out. Oh, there you go, change character. Let's change character to Hunter and see what weapons the Hunter's using. We'll have a look at another world. Here she comes. I say she. I can't remember, in fact, if in those days it was a male or a... No, it was a male. In Destiny 2, I run with a female huntress, I guess. So we have the Fatebringer. Oh, that's such an amazing gun. I think you can still get it now in Destiny 2 if you play the uprated Vault of Glass, which I've yet to play, actually. I haven't played it yet. What else we got here? The Outbreak Prime, Atheon's Epilogue, Jalo Supercell, Oversoul Edict, and Abyss Defiant. Running with Telesto, which we were quickly flaunted with the Warlock just now. There's our eponymous Icebreaker, Fourth Horseman, and then over here on heavies we have, of course, the Galahorn, which I think is actually pronounced Yellowhorn, if you're going to be correct, a Bolt Caster and a Dark Drinker. And then we've got Kepri's Sting, which made you, I don't know that it exists in Destiny 2, I can't remember, but it makes you invisible when you crouch, which was very helpful. And even an exotic cloak, which is that little fella there. What else have we got up here? Mask of the Third Man, ATS-8 Arachnid, Graviton Forfeit, and of course Knucklehead Radar. Oh, and an engram which will break. We don't need that. We don't need a blue. We're going in void. Okay, so let's have another look at... Let's go into the Dreadnought because, as I've said, it exists in part within quests within Destiny 2, but not as a standalone region of the scale that it did in Destiny. The music in the background, gorgeous stuff. I hope if you're a long-time Destiny player, you're enjoying revisiting some of these worlds. So here we are.
This ship certainly takes some getting used to.
It's an absolutely massive world. Look at the size of this. The scale of these places was just amazing. Let's get the Fatebringer on the go. There we go with that. Again, by no means dead. Destiny 1 is still very much alive and kicking with Guardians. The good old Fatebringer. Of course, the Dreadnought was the first world that wasn't a world. It's It's meant to be a large Cabal ship that was ultimately taken by the Taken. But a really fun and fascinating world to explore. Many, 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 many mysteries and secrets built into the map, which made it a real joy to uncover. One, two, only 2 jumps. Maybe that was the way it was. Let's have a look. That's just the way it is. All of these things here going on. Perks and stuff. There we go, triple jump. So we do have triple jump. I actually really like this. I know a lot of people were glad when they got rid of this progression, but I love the multitude of choices that you had. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, triple jump. I give you that, Bungie. A very mysterious place. Actually, I don't think it was a Cabal ship. I think there are Cabal ships here. There's one that's kind of absorbed into the ship. There's a big old Cabal ship that's crash landed on us. Taken. So the idea is you crouch and then you go invisible, which is really cool because you can do it whenever you want to. You didn't have to do a little roll to go invisible as you do in Destiny 2. Yay, an Agnarch rune. Whatever that is. Love that. Love that going invisible when you crouch. Please bring that back, Bungie. What was that cloak called? It's the Kepri Sting. I must check out. I'm fairly certain that doesn't exist in Destiny 2. But if that perk exists, I'm having that on. Bringing that fella back. So this side of the map was very much Cabal. And the other side, down the road a tad. There's these guys, the acolytes. But again, note the lack of music in Destiny, which, as I've said, I think added to the whole atmosphere. I really like the fact they're not bombarding you with a cinematic soundtrack. It really does kind of add to the whole desolation of the place. You're on your own, if you are on your own, of course. Having said all that, I'm fairly certain it's not just because I've turned the music down. No, we didn't have the choice. Look at that. We had game volume and chat volume, and that was it. I wonder how many people have come and gone that have worked on Destiny, and I don't mean physically, I mean in terms of employment. I know, significant numbers of people to this day work on the game, but I just wonder how many have, if you took everybody that's ever worked on Destiny in all of its different flavors, I wonder how many people that would be. Quite a few. I'm probably in the thousands, to be fair. Whoa. Well, that was rubbish. I'm just trying to remember, there is an encounter that, but you had to jump across to it, and that's what I was just wondering if that's what this is. You didn't have to jump across to it, but you could. Yeah, it's interesting that the jumping, I mean, I suppose it's because in Destiny 2 I tend to use the stompies on my hunter, so it has a little bit more of a jump to it, but definitely doesn't feel like you cover as much ground in Destiny 1. We're the old Fatebringer. So the Fatebringer would, if you got a headshot, they would explode. That's pretty cool. It's sort of the forerunners to the Call, I guess. But as you've seen, even though ammo wasn't infinite on kinetic weapons in those days, there was never any shortage of ammo to collect off the floor, and if you ran out, you could just pop a brick in from your inventory. So we're going to head over here. I don't know that it will let me. This was an encounter that its name escapes me, but or even how to. I think we needed a certain token. There we are. Present the rune depending on what you had. So you'd throw one of these in. That would start the encounter. And then on this very small area, you would have to defeat whatever it threw at you. Invariably leading to rewards. But each of these things had different methods that you needed to employ to take them down and stay alive. And you could hear the activity taking place all over the Dreadnought. So it would bring in, I think we have to kill the witch before these guys. Shields drop. This is a particularly nasty shot. And it was a bit roguelike, if I remember rightly. If you died, you pretty much started again. If you're on your own, for sure. There's a chest. There's a key. Now he doesn't. His shield remains persistent until we kill that queen. I believe. And unlike my Void Hunter Destiny 2, you can't just roll into invisibility. Although we can crouch into invisibility. Oops. Pasting here. Let's get some health back. Wish I hadn't chosen that though. It's there's some damage, but it's not fun to use because the recoil is real. Whoa, these guys are chasing me all over the place. Right, where's that witch? Oh yeah, she is. She's down. Whoa, hey. She seems to get her shield back as well. Die. Yeah. See, you've got to return within. But it fires you all the way out here. You've got 10 seconds to get back in. There you go. Otherwise, the event cancels. It's very clever. Now, normally what would happen is you have a load of other people who join, so you weren't doing it on your own. In this case, though, we are very much on our own. Super. Give us an edge to go. Where is she? Don't die. Oh no, wrong one. Flip it. I thought that was the witch. So we failed on that one, sadly. At this point, that's it. We didn't get any rewards, and what you have to do is go back and pop another rune in if you want to do it again, which we won't. I never used to bother with them when it was me on my own. If somebody did enjoy, they were always quite tough to complete in the time on your own. It's a little legendary there. Let's grab that one. So that was the Dreadnought and a dark and dingy place. Great fun. Lots of mysteries and danger. Right, let's go back to orbit. So we have done Venus, we have done the Tower, we've done Dreadnought, and we've done Mars. And the Reef in our quest to revisit some of the worlds of Destiny 1. We have left the Moon and Earth, so let's quickly visit Moon again. Only one port of entry in Destiny. And I'm quite intrigued about this Kepri. Also, why am I using one? No, it's got a strength of 65. Switch that one out. That's... Yeah, you see, this one has been pretty almost completed on its progression path, so I'm not sure why I switched out. Or switched in the other one, which hasn't even begun progression. Anyway, here we are on the Moon.
The fissures here are growing larger. Watch your step.
And you'll have noticed that it throws us in at a fairly remote part of the Moon. Not the same, I mean roughly the same area, but Moon Destiny 2 you land in a more inhabited place. Let's get our Sparrow up. This will all be familiar to you from Destiny 1. All of this area is pretty much the same. The moon itself has remained relatively intact from the original version of the Moon. Most of it you can visit and it'll be recognizable. There is a section here that's missing, that's in Destiny 2. There's a little cave. I just noticed that's not here. Double trouble. But in the main, it's very similar area. Oops. As I said earlier, I do think the models in character models in D1 are more detailed than those in D2. The textures obviously are reduced because it was only 1080p, but the models themselves look to be more fulfilled. Chest. So yeah, it's very similar, as I've said. There's no huge difference to the Moon in D1 and the Moon in D2. There are differences. A major one. Most of the differences happen underground. but overall it's pretty much carried over intact. The bowels of the moon. I think that got rid of most of them. No finishers, of course, in Destiny 1. That was a Destiny 2 introduction. I'm not sure, I can't remember. I'm fairly certain a lot of this stuff does exist in D2, but not in as much detail. The world's grave. There's just something so satisfying in Destiny about exploding people's heads. And again, you'll notice the lack of soundtrack. They allowed the atmosphere of the world to permeate rather than a constant cinematic soundtrack and annoying ghost voice. further without being in a quest or a mission or a patrol. But any road up, that was the moon, so we'll go back to orbit and finally go down to Earth and see how different that was. And we had a bit of a full-on Rise of Iron thing going on over here. That was a separate area. Again, you will know it from if you've run any Crucible maps, you'll know this area. If you go down to the Iron Temple, it still pops up in Crucible maps, and was a place all of its own in the rise of what was it called? Iron Lord or Rise of the Wolf or something, I forget now. Which I think it was the second Destiny season. Let's get rid of this. It's annoying me. Let's bring Telesto back. I tell you what we won't do. We'll pull back the Yabba Thingy Bob and the Gallopon. So here we are. There's a load of folk here at the Iron Temple. Probably because it was one of the last seasons. No, not one of the last seasons.
If only they had done a bit more research.
Strike that. Delete that in the edit. You can pat these wolves. Alright, can you pat? Yeah, you can. Only you can't.
Show me your light.
There's the Iron Lord.
Your light is a
Basically, House of Wolves, that was it. And this is where
Checking for messages.
you pick up various bounties and do various tasks.
You here to fight or scout?
Vanguard, Scout.
Is there a god you can't defeat?
Complete patrols in the Plague Lands. Yeah.
Maintaining a guardian presence in the
We'll have that
Plague
one off you, my
Lands
friend.
is key to keeping the splicers in check.
There was this little endeavour to reach the top of that mountain, which you could do, and it was worth doing. When you got there, there wasn't much of reward. It was an old campsite. I did it a couple of times. It was quite fun, though. Music here, of course. I think there's music in all of the community areas.
The Iron Lords can finally rest.
Oops.
Hello, Guardian.
So that was one Earth area. That one there, and then you could also visit. That's actually the Plague Lands over there. Now the Plague Lands, I'm trying to remember. I think again they were a later addition. Let's go and have a look. I'd forgotten about the Plague Lands, to be honest. I think it was an area of the Earth that was there in the beginning, but in one of the later seasons, they turned it into the Plague Lands, and it was all that kind of red rotting stuff everywhere.
Shiro's tracking multiple reports of increased hostile activity throughout
Music
the Plague
and
Lands.
Ghost.
Let's check it out.
Just outside the tower. And we're these kind of afflicted fallen. This they've got these little pokey legs. So what was the outside art like in Destiny 1 then? Let's get our Sparrow out. Yeah, there's my horn. It's a shame we don't have horns anymore. Wow. In D2. On certain monitors, and depending on the time of the day, those green engrams look suspiciously like exotic engrams. How many times we got excited thinking we'd landed an exotic, only to find it was a basic green. Whoa. Don't want to be going there, my friend. So yeah, this is an area of Earth that never made it across to Destiny 2. Even though these splicers, they were very much part of the season. I don't think we've ever had the old pointy leg splicers in D2. The old Galahorn, still a favourite of Destiny 2, at least for me. I really did mourn the demise of Destiny 1, I'll be honest. To this day, I still feel more at home in D1 than D2. There was something more grown up about D1. D2 always felt like a sort of a throwback. Avast, me lovers. So that was that area of Earth, and then the remaining areas will be more familiar to Destiny 2 players. Cash that one in before we close. Yeah, it's
The Fallen have
the
strengthened their
Cosmodrome.
positions around the old launch sites. We need to be cautious.
So this, of course, is the main area of Earth that you used to, that will be familiar to anybody who Destiny 1. This was the main initial area that we played from in Destiny, well, part of it. And you can still go here now in D2. It's still very much the same. I think it pretty much. Again, look at the detail. The textures, I keep prattling on. Yeah, the textures were not as high res because it wasn't 4K, but I just feel like the models themselves are more detailed. And you still get that sense of isolation and desolation in D2 when you visit the Earth, which you don't get in any of the other areas anymore in D2. It's that quietness, and then every so often there'll be the noise of a howl in the distance, or some wind, or a ship going past. But I guess somebody decided it needed to be more dynamic. I've never done a side-by-side comparison of the D1 worlds that made it across to D2. It would be interesting exercise, actually. Hello. Well, good morning to you. I am doing a little retro visit to Destiny 1 as part of the 10-year anniversary. Just going through all the worlds and reminiscing on the good old days. Hope you're well, my friend. It's unbelievable, isn't it? 10 years. I remember I played the alpha. And I remember thinking when they said back then it would only be 10 years as a franchise. Of course, it's going to go on way beyond that, particularly now that Sony have bought it. But I remember thinking 10 years, wow, that's years away. And then here it is. But it is always, I love Destiny 1, it'll always have a massive play a massive part to my gaming history, and without a shadow of a doubt, it introduced me to some amazing friends. I know, and here I am, 10 years in, and about to start a new job on Monday as a lecturer and teaching game development and esports. So I have a lot to thank to this game. All of this will be very familiar to D2 players. There's pretty much identically introduced. Thank you, my friend. can't tell how excited I am, to be honest with you. Bringing all of my passions together. And really looking forward to it. Oops. The amount of great times we had, or still to have to this day, of course, Destiny's still very much around. But all those raids, and Vault Glass, and new concepts as well that we'd never heard or seen before in games, brought to us with Destiny. Again, very familiar area. If you hop into the Cosmodrome in Destiny 2. Oh, absolutely. Skolas in Prison of Elders was a 19-hour grind when it first launched. But yeah, certainly it definitely had its tasty moments. Friendships were lost as well because of this game. So in Destiny 2, this is always my go-to place if I want to do some Banshee bounties or test out a new weapon. In D2, they've sort of made it a really active area. I think largely for that purpose. Of course, we always had the old loot cave, which they have this little Easter egg in D2 as well. I remember the very first loot. I remember when the loot cave was active. In its original form. Right, so, in fact, what is interesting is there are, you can go down and below here in D1 and come out in a whole other area of Earth, which I don't think you can do in D2. I think there's still another part of Earth that we haven't. Of course, there are whole new areas in Destiny 2 that you can't access in Destiny 1. No, I think that was it. I think we pretty much covered everything today, other than doing some Crucible or Vanguard missions, raids, and so on and so forth. All the stuff that was there. But yeah, that was Destiny 1, and I'm so pleased that Bungie have kept it active. And as you saw just now, no matter where you go, there is still a ton of folk playing this game. And it's 100% worth it. I think still to this day, quite honestly, if Destiny 1 dropped tomorrow, it would feel as fresh and as active and dynamic as it did the day it launched back in 2014, September the 9th, 2014 officially, and of course the alpha and the beta June and July prior to then announced, if I remember rightly, I forget now, one of the gaming shows, but I still think it stands up to this day, 10 years later. I still think it's a great looking game and hugely playable. There we are, as we slowly approach the tower. In whatever that ship is. I was just wondering if I still have the ship that I... very similar to the one that you got through fighting Skolas. Here we go, look, you see, there's a load of folk here. Nobody's abandoned this game, it's still really active. Let's go and cash in our engrams before we head for the hills. Oh, look at that, we have a faction rank up. How cool is that? With some upgrade stuff. So we have 4 engrams we picked up along the way, and these have only a chance of converting into a legendary. This one has the very, very, very remote chance that it could open up as an exotic, and it has happened. We'll do these first. And then who knows? Let's give this legendary a poke. A legendary. Well, what else would you expect? Bless it. And we'll leave them there. They can have that. We'll get rid of the blues. Nobody wants those. They're material fodder. A wonderful, wonderful game. Here we are, look, Fireteam Friends. All of these enjoying the wonders of this seminal game, this mold-breaking game. Let's go and see what... is it Cade? Zavala? I think it's Cade. What have you got for us, Cade? Oh, I've got a rank faction prize I can choose. Armor. Ooh, nice.
You bring back some stories.
An unbelievably old cloak. Who doesn't want an unbelievably old cloak? Oh wow, it is unbelievably old. Look at it. It's stitched together. It's the kind of work I do. That's amazing. And a Aspriate vest. Everything, of course, is max level pretty much. At least max level as was. 400 was the max level. So the fact that he's only 398 must be to do with a weapon. Let's get something. There we go. Because all my characters are maxed. Okay. So there you have it, my friends. That was my Destiny 1. My Destiny 1. My favourite game of all time. And a game that undoubtedly changed my life. I knew it would from the first moment that I played the alpha. I've made some amazing friends, had some amazing times, built some amazing memories. Well done, Bungie. Hat off to you, my friends. And let's hope for at least another 10 years in the Destiny universe. Thank you for joining. I hope you've enjoyed that little wander down Destiny memory lane. I really appreciate you. And guys, enjoy Destiny. And I'll see you all. Well, in fact, in the words of Bungie, I'll see you Starside. Take care now.